Victoria Chavez, and I'm just going to give you a really quick tutorial on what a teacher can do when they acquire a new class and they have zero training on how to teach those types of students. So I'm doing this because I recently was offered a long-term, or actually it was a permanent position, but I couldn't do permanent because it's for primary ages, and my credential is going to be in English for secondary ages, and I haven't passed the multiple subject CSET yet, so I couldn't take the position, which was a bummer, a huge bummer. Which in hindsight, I wish I would have gotten my special education multiple subject credential rather than secondary ed, because that really is where my passion is. Anyway, back to my class. So I was offered this position for the rest of the year, and I took it. So it's a new class, and they're special education students. They're very bright, but they do have some learning disabilities. And so I assess them, and I assess them based on using the Common Core standards to help me identify what they know and don't know. And this is a good source because I don't have any any formal training in primary education. And so I use the Common Core state standards just as a basis for my curriculum and my lessons. So all I did, and I wasn't given any curriculum by the school or the principal or anybody. There's nothing. So this is what I was doing. So Google's amazing. Because it does your thinking for you. All I did was type in Common Core State Standards Kindergarten Math. They don't have much training in they haven't had much instruction with math, the core subjects. So for me, it's essential because they're going to learn writing and reading and stuff like that pretty well, and their coming classes and stuff like that. But math, and this time to learn math, these sort of essential things they're going to need to know in order to move to the next grade. So English is a little more flexible, but math isn't. So I wanted to get started right away with that. So all I did was go to Kindergarten State Standards Math. And this little handy website is just amazing. This is sort of like my everything. I'm on it every day, every single day, figuring out what my kids need and stuff like that. And so all I did to create my lessons was just go down the line here, read all of the things that the kids need to know in order to move to first grade. And while some of my kids are first graders, and even there's a couple of second graders, some of these standards they have not met. So, for example, I just started at the top here, knowing the names, the number names, and being able to recognize them, and then counting all the way to 100. Some do know how to count. I think the most was 50, and that was by my second graders. None, however, could count by tens. They didn't even know the concept. So I knew that I needed to start just with the very basics with this. However, when I went to assess them with this one, all I did was use a number chart, and point to a random number on my number chart. And this was a really quick formative assessment that I did with them. I just sat them all at the carpet, and one by one said, okay. They really enjoyed it, actually, because it was something new that they had never done, the activity. But because they can count, and because they're smart kids, they knew the concept of counting forward and backward, but not until I modeled it for them. So I just showed them the number chart, and I said, okay, now I'm going to point to a random number, and you're going to count forward from there. And then I would show them, model that for them. So for example, if I pointed to 7, you would say 7, 8, 9, 10, and then count all the way as far as you can. And then vice versa, have them do the reverse. Okay, here I'm going to point to another random number, and you're going to count backwards. That means the numbers are going to get smaller. So I would point to like 12, and they would have to say 11, 10, 9. This was a little more challenging for them, but after modeling, they all could do it. So I had this covered, which was awesome. And then writing numbers from 0 to 20, most of them could do that. They could recognize numbers. One of my students couldn't. She could do basic 1 through 5 or 6, but she had trouble with her teens. So in that case, I'm just gonna I'll group her with these kiddos that are learning their tens and stuff. So the way that I wanted to start my lessons where I could do whole group was by having them count by tens. None of them knew how to do that, so I started there. And you guys will see how I did that. I wanted to make it meaningful for them. And again, because I don't have any formal training in the primary ages, I just based a lot of my instructions on my prior knowledge in the kindergarten class and what I was taught as a kindergartner and my experiences in a kindergarten class as a student. Not necessarily as an aide, because all of my teachers for whom I worked did something different, but I did it based on what my experiences were and what I thought was fun as a kid. So I incorporated counting by tens, learning that process and those concepts, or that concept, on the calendar and learning how to count down days. So even though we only had 30 or so days of school left, there were still some tens in there and good enough for us to get some repetition. So you guys will see that in my coming lesson in the that you'll see of the live video of me teaching my kiddos. And it was so much fun, and I can't wait for them to learn to count by tens all the way to 100. And we're working hard, and they're so smart, and this is the best part of my job, teaching new concepts to students who are capable of learning, and this is why I love teaching. And that's it. That concludes my tutorial. Thank you guys so much for. You got it. 10, 20, 30. There you go. You made your turn. Okay. How many do I have now?
0.
How many do I have now?
20.
And how many do I have now?
10.
10?
Obed, sit up.
Ready? 10, 20, 30. How many do I have?
40.
There are 10 in each one. These are by themselves. That means they're not 10 here. Otherwise, it would be in the rubber band. Let's try it again. 10.
20. 30.
31. 32. 33.
Get your fingers out of there.
34. 35. How many are in there?
35.
Let's all do it together and then we're almost done. Okay? Newman, pay attention. This is how you're going to get your popcorn. Pay attention. Popcorn.
I don't want a popcorn.
Okay, don't take a popcorn.
Yeah, you don't have
Here we go. 10.
10.
20.
20.
How many are in here, Newman?
20.
30.
30.
31.
31.
32.
32.
33. 34. I see you don't want popcorn?
I want popcorn.
No, if I were you, these two get popcorn so far,
Wait, I want popcorn too.
then you better do this.
Right.
Okay.
Newman, you want popcorn?
Yeah. I want popcorn too. I don't.
Shh. How many are here?
10.
10.
Oh, see?
Okay, I'll pay attention.
Yeah.
This is your last turn. 10.
Okay, I saw that.
9. 20.
20.
20.
20.
30.
30.
31.
30.
32. 33. 34.
35.
35.
How many do I have total?
35.
How many?
35.
No.
Sorry.
Newman, how many do I have?
30.
It's coming. Just me and Newman.
Elaine, your eyes over here.
10.
20.
20. 30.
31.
31. 32. 30. 84. 85.
How many do I have?
85.
Popcorn. Popcorn. Kevin's turn. Let's see if Kevin can do it.
Okay.
And then he's going to earn his popcorn. Ready?
Yes. 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35.
See if he can do it. Taking one away. How many do I have?
34.
You are so awesome. Ready, Obed? You two get popcorn. You're next, Elaine. Pay attention. All right. How many do I have?
0.
Yeah. Okay. How many?
1. No, 10. 10. 8.
It's okay. Don't talk for him, please. 10.
Sit down and cross your
10
legs.
more.
Crisscross.
Equals
10 plus 10 more. If you need help, look.
equals
10
20.
plus 10 more.
30. 33.
Okay, wait. Well, no, when we only have 30. 10, 20, 10, 20, 30, 30.
31. 32. 33. 34. 35.
Now watch. I'm going to take one away. We have 35. I'm going to take one away. How many do I have now?
40. 43. It's a 3 and a 4.
And that's it. What number is that? 3 and a 4. 30.
34.
Yeah.
I was.
backwards, yeah.
You tricked me. I said 34.
You said 43.
You said 43.
Goose. It's okay. You just read it backwards. Let's see if
Sit
Elaine can
up.
do it.
Newman.
Then we're going to eat our popcorn. We're totally eating our popcorn. Ready, Elaine?
Okay.
Obed,